Welcome to Riverbend Talon on WBGZ. Brought to you by the Halpin Music Company.
Another Thursday night in the Riverbend, another sea shanty sing-along already underway down at Morrison's Irish Pub. Riverbend Talent brought to you by the Halpin Music Company and by Mr. Matt Van Boris of Macias Insurance. Hey, Rock the Hops coming up on August 8th. Time to submit your band if you want to play Rock the Hops, if you want to be a vendor. RockTheHopsAlton.com. You can also find that link at cottonmouth.org, along with all the other things we talk about here for the next hour or so. We got an open mic schedule later tonight at the Conservatory. Cross the Line, underway at Fast Eddie's until 10. We got another open mic at the Full Moon Lounge in Godfrey, a blues theme, so everybody can sit in on that, 7 o'clock. Joe Minor, 7 to 10 at the Pump House in Wood River. The Owls, 7 to 9 at Grafton. Music in the Park kicking off tonight at Grove Park in Grafton. We got Piano Joe underway at Wigglers in Holiday Shores in Edwardsville. Gary Hoey in town, or he was scheduled to be in town. Sometimes a wildie, doesn't always work out. Lauren Ash, 6 to 9 at Sneaky's Burgers in Edwardsville. Living Loud at Big Daddy's until 9. Spencer McDowell and Troy Benningmeyer, 7 to 10 at the Staggering Again in Edwardsville. Jeremy Drake underway at the Cabinet at Judy Creek until 9. Michelle and Scott started at 5:30, and they'll go to 8:30 at the Prairie Inn in Dorsey. And Jamie on keys, 6:30 to 9:30, all the way out in Highland, which is still in Madison County. Last I heard, the Unwind Lounge. In the studio tonight, making their 6th appearance on Riverbend Talent, it is the guys from Spillie Nelson.
Yeah,
Hello,
what's
hello.
up, y'all?
Afternoon.
Shout out. Heck yeah.
So we got Josh Witt saying, heck yeah, just there.
That's what they say. That's what they call me.
And are you a Spillie Nelson?
I am many things. Spillie Nelson is one of them.
I remember back in the day when you taught me where you guys got the name Spillie Nelson 6 episodes ago.
Yeah.
And that was, if I remember correctly, that was a name that kind of everybody would own at some point at a party.
Yep.
We still do every time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of kinds of Nelsons, too, not just Spillies. There's Sleepies. There's
Okay.
Grumpies.
Okay.
Yeah, there's Dorkies, and there's one guy actually said, "I love your band. Silly Nelson's a great name." It all fits, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, by the way, Pigpen's here.
No, I'm not. No,
It's his lookalike, his stunt double.
you can call me Nelson. Anybody ever claimed that one yet?
Nope, that's you, buddy. You can have it.
There you go, man. The old double Nelson.
There is a ring to Copeland Nelson, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I've actually heard that term quite a few times. It's crazy.
Scrappy Nelson seems like you want to fight.
That's probably where you want to land, yeah.
Oh man. Well, I feel like Nelson. You know, it's like almost makes it a negative Nelson. Too positive makes it negative. I
Right,
don't
it's
know
like
if
a
that works.
spoof. The only way you could spoof Spillie Nelson is be a Nelson, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You can't spoof a spoof, right?
That's kind of where I was going with it.
I think your math's off. I think it's 2 negatives make a positive. So
Well, you know.
on the right track.
I went to public school. I sometimes get Anne Frank and Hitler confused.
Which way's west?
No, none of this is true, except for the fact that Nelson is a good spoof. That's the best I could come up with.
That's
So
good.
there
That's
you
good.
go.
That's good. That's better than
But
Mo
it's
Roots
not-
have come up with.
but
They
it's
call
not
us
as-
Billie Eilish.
It's not as good as just a plain old Spillie Nelson.
But again, yeah, thanks for having us on the show 6 times, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
who
it's an
didn't?
Uh-oh.
Who didn't put their stuff
And
on
just
mute?
for the record, no Nelsons actually in the building except for the band Spillie Nelson.
Right. And no Nelsons were hurt during the taping of this.
That's true.
However, Nelson Mandela does approve
He does.
of this band.
He does. And I'll bet if Willie was around, he'd laugh at it too. Well, he's here, but he ain't here. You know what I mean?
Oh, he's here.
He's in a UFO with Howard Hughes and Elvis Presley.
Oh, no, man.
There's a correspondence guy on the news now named Willie Nelson. And every time they pitch it to him, I'm sitting there picturing Willie Nelson in my head going, that'd be so awesome if it was really Willie Nelson.
Yeah, he should dress
recording.
up like him once.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Like, could you see like Willie Nelson like as a weatherman? That'd be
He's a guy.
Partly
He's a guy.
cloudy.
It's usually the guy reporting on some crime or something, which would be even better.
Right.
Absolutely.
He'd be like, there's crime in Chicago.
He'd probably be like, yeah, we don't want to talk about this ugly stuff. Let's talk about something good.
Somebody told me there was crime, but not here. Not on my ranch.
We often get asked if we are a Willie Nelson tribute band, for those who don't know us.
Yeah, people assume a lot.
And the ones that don't know or maybe do know, we actually do one Willie song. So, and it's really good. It's really, really good.
Now all I can think of is Willie. Mine, yours, all of them.
Yeah, everybody's Willie.
Willie's on our mind.
As I walk closer to the Willie.
Willie's always on my mind. Oh man, Spillie Nelson, 6 times.
I'm starting to think
Yeah.
that I'm starting to think that you guys feel sorry for us. Really, really feel sorry for us.
No. I don't think you hold a record. I don't think you're even, on the Mount Rushmore of the tie, because we've had people on what. I don't know.
I'd say they're in the
7 times?
ballpark of closing in on a record.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, really?
Do we get an award?
Oh yeah. It's the Spillie Award.
Yeah.
You have 2 live videos at cottonmouth.org too. One from Trinity River Fest and one from Framley Fest.
Yeah.
So that's 8 videos.
There you go. Yeah, okay.
Okay. So when you go back, there's these 6, and then there's the 2 live shows. We got 8.
See?
Hey, speaking of Trinity Fest, we just played it, last week? 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
But amazing to all the people that run it.
Yep.
Everything.
Shout out to everybody.
Yeah, shout out to everybody. They did a great job. All the bands sounded great. And thanks for having us, too.
Sure.
Mike Rister, small town, did a great job on sound, man. Just, that guy's watching him grow and just get bigger every year. And just the more he learns, the better he is. And he's got a great ear. He's just really enjoyable to work with. You know what I mean? So.
Oh yeah, and he's a nice guy. Man.
Yeah, super nice guy.
I've known that guy for a long time,
Yep.
man. Just a downright nice fella.
And he really wants it to sound
really
good,
helps.
which a lot of sound guys are not like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I got to say, I've been to like major Peach Fests. The Allman Brothers started that. That's 20 years going. That's a huge festival. They had 3 stages when I went a couple years ago, and on the 3rd stage, it would sound so horrible. I would try to get past it and understand how good those musicians were on stage.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, the sound guy's got his feet up looking at a book, and I'm like, dude, this is embarrassing to have a festival that's this big.
Well, it's like having a flat tire. You know what I mean? It's like elemental cog in the system. If it doesn't sound good, I mean, it's part of the art form. You know what I mean?
It's garbage in, garbage out. I mean, if you have an amazing, it's like in that situation, there were some amazing bands on that stage. You could hear what they were playing, but what was coming out of the speakers, you could tell was not probably what they were shooting for, because it'd be muddy and muffled.
I heard that if you put your feet on the soundboard, it sounds worse. That's what I heard.
See, this guy actually had been taught different. He went to a different school.
He did.
But I mean, and it's the same way where you could have a great PA system, but if you got me playing, it's still going to sound like me.
Right.
You
can't. Well, yeah.
I learned that the
how does
hard
that
way.
work?
I spent a lot of money trying to fix what I sound like, and it just doesn't change.
Finally, he just owned it.
Right.
I got the golden flute and everything. It just still sounds like crap. $6,000 bass, man, and I still can't.
Right. I got one of those guitars that plays itself. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. That's the only time I sound good.
Oh man.
And then there's the decent sound guy who's grumpy. You know what I mean? He just doesn't seem like he wants to be there.
Probably because he wants to be better and he can't, so he's grumpy about it.
Yeah.
That could very
Somebody
well
gave me
be.
this. It's like plugging in a Sparkomatic stereo and some 6x9s and trying to make it sound like a RCA surround sound. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, here's
I'd be
wired. We got this here wired at 13 ohms.
Right.
Perfect. So and like you bring up the grumpiness and the attitude. It doesn't matter matter whether it's the band. Anytime you're working with a group, if there's somebody who's a sourpuss, it's bringing everybody down. And I when you do get a compliment from somebody that isn't just, hey, the old attaboy, you put it in your pocket, you carry it around, you smile. And last year I got one up in Wisconsin where there's like 40 stages, and the bands all have to grade the sound guys at the end of it. Every year, been going the Mile of Music up in Appleton, Wisconsin.
Hey, wait, that's cool.
And one of the biggest bands that was on our stage last year, the Millbillies, I think they were called. They were packed the place. But at the end of it, the guy said, "Man, you guys are the best sound crew here." And I said, nah, I said, if you were on one of the big stages, because there's some really like monstrous stages at this thing. I said, if you were on one of those big stages, I bet you'd find that the sound is stellar, because I've walked around and checked them out. He goes, yeah, we were yesterday. The sound is perfect, just like here, but they were not nice.
Yeah.
He's like, you guys
He's like, I'm not
are
talking about the sound, I'm talking about the guys.
he said, you guys are just, it sounds as good as it did yesterday.
That's awesome.
But you're nice.
But you're nice, yeah.
And I put that in my I walked around the rest of the weekend skipping and wanting to be even nicer,
It's contagious, my friend.
So
you want to talk about sound guys? We got a great sound guy for this festival that we're about to do. It's Keegan Armstead.
No.
Part A, right? Isn't it called Part A Productions?
Yes.
Part A Productions.
So say the name again. Keegan.
Keegan Armstead is his name.
I think I know this.
You
fella.
probably do know
I
Keegan.
think he used to work for Wolf Sound a few years ago.
He might have.
And I think I met him then. I think we might have actually even turned our board over to this fellow one night because we trusted him so much.
He's that guy for sure.
Yeah. He was on top of his game. But the festival or the event that you're talking about is Under the Stars.
It is
3? Trace?
This is the third Under the Stars.
Which 3 is a magic number.
The last 2 were done at a local venue, the Cottage or the VFW out there in Brighton.
Yep.
The Farm. And this year we moved it to Astral Valley out in French Village. And Under the Stars, the third year, July 24th through the 26th. So we've got a stacked lineup, and we've got all kinds of workshops. We've got kids camp. We've got some. What's cool about the property is that it has caves that we can explore that are safe. They're not too deep. They're fun. There's water flowing through the property. We're gonna have water bounce houses and water slides for the kids.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a lot of stuff, man.
So this Astral Valley has been around for a long time.
Well, so Sheena, the lady that owns it, don't quote me, 13 or 14 years ago she bought it. Okay. Maybe 16 years ago, somewhere in there, because she's been doing Cosmic Reunion and Cosmic Connection and Cosmic Reunion out there for 14 years ago. She did the first one or something.
My son's 20 years old, and when my kids were little, we had property not too far from there in I forget what it's called, Bonne Terre, Missouri, there, right there. And man, they had some big shows out there during those years, because it was a few times where I was like, if my kids weren't babies, I would back up and go over there, but that's a lot of work.
I'm pretty sure that Cosmic Connection or Cosmic Reunion, because I think the Connection was first. Don't quote me on this, but I think the Reunion is like a precursor from the.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think it's this coming up weekend. Yeah. And I think they get a couple, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people there on that one.
I was going to say it's a big one, and they, like you say, it's a big piece of property.
Yeah, it is.
It's in a beautiful part of a piece of land, really a lot of, like you say,
down in a valley, of course.
Well, that's why it's called Astral Valley.
Oh, yeah.
They were going to call it Astral Hill.
Yeah,
and
then they thought, well, Astral Mountain don't work because it goes. And then they thought inverted Astral Mountain. They were going to do an inverted mountain.
But then they just asked AI, what should we call it?
They said Valley.
And AI said, let me ask Siri.
If you start with A, it'll be first in the phone book. Like, who reads phone books, right?
That's why it's called AAA Swing City in Collinsville. We'll shout out to them, awesome guys, but it's AAA Swing City, and the main reason is
because it was first in the phone book.
Yeah.
The yellow pages.
That's the voice of Jared Unfried, who might have been on this show 6 times, but not with the same band every time.
You know what? He might be like single guest. Yeah, he might be.
Yeah, because at least a couple times with Hideous.
Yeah.
I know Don't Get Dead was on once.
It's all really blurry, honestly. I have no idea how
Second
many
time
times.
with
Couple
you guys.
times.
Yeah, second
Couple,
time
two,
with you
three.
guys. Yeah,
if it's
so-
working right, it all flows into one another, and you don't even notice days go by.
I thought we'd been here the whole time.
Yeah. Oh, we have, man. I have.
Hey, you know,
Except when I'm not.
we talked about it last time, Josh. That's how you guys know how long you've been together. Because we mentioned, hey, the show's going on 10 years. You're like, oh, yeah, that's when we started about 10 years ago.
That's right. Yeah.
And
That's right.
it might have been like maybe the first Trinity River Fest, too, that was kind of in that maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah. No, you're right. Because I mean,
Man, time flies.
Yeah.
when they think of it that way.
I think it was. So this is going to be our 11th Mo Roots. At 12 years ago, we started because I remember the first year we went to Mo Roots. I was standing there with Rich Fleetwood from Fleetwood and Family, and that was a year it flooded, and it was raining, and I'm telling Rich, I'm like, we're going to do this one of these days, man. We were in a band called The Odd Conversations. We're like, we're going to do this one of these days. And he's like, oh, man, this is cool. Well, there was nothing happening on the sound system because Mattahoochee was playing, but they had shut it off because of lightning. And we're literally standing in water off the side of the road, looking in underneath the tent at the side stage. And every time they would do a little subtle moment, I'd look over, dude, I think they're going to start it back up. We did that for 45 minutes before they were finally like, all right, the music's over. Everybody needs to start evacuating. The river's coming up. And I'm thinking, what? We stayed till the next morning till they kicked us out. But I mean, that place flooded, washed campgrounds out. But that was the start of that's what we're going to do. And then we did Mo Roots the next year, and we did Trinity River the next year, which was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And I want to say Hideous Gentlemen was involved in part of that, too, way back. I know we got a live video of them, too.
Yeah.
Jared Unfree.
It's all really blurry, too. I know.
I'm so glad it is.
Hideous Gentlemen's got roots back to at least 2011. And then the other guys joined in 15. So, yeah. Long time.
Yeah.
I remember seeing you guys out at Cottage Hills VFW play.
Yep. I think that's where the
Trinity, or maybe it was a Bush Fest. I don't remember because I know there was some Bush Fest out there for a
Ye
while.
old Bush Fest.
For
yeah.
sure.
Those are good times, too.
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, there was a couple of summers I think I spent almost every weekend at that VFW.
Yeah.
It was popping out there for a couple of years. Just lots of festivals happening. Man, I do remember having Hideous Gentlemen on way back. And I think it was that maybe the first, like one of the first Bush Fest that also moved out to the VFW, which
Because didn't they used to go on at Doug's house?
so it started at Doug's house over on like Eugene Street, over like by Hit and Run up there.
The bowl.
Yeah.
It was a Humbert Road because the first one we did was on Humbert Road.
So the one on Humbert Road, that was my grandpa's old house. Sits right there on the corner. Cool. And me and Doug grew up that field where you guys played. We grew up like racing go-karts and motorcycles, and that was our playground when we were kids. So it was really cool. The couple years he had it out there, I was loving that because it was kind of taking me back to my childhood
For sure.
But because of parking. You know, people started parking at the church parking lot across the street and then crossing Humbert. And it starts getting dangerous.
Yeah, that became an issue. Yeah. Plus, Sunday morning, we got church. All them cars still parked there.
Right. Jake's Leg had that problem. They did, after they tore the Coliseum Ballroom down, they were doing these shows once a year. Like, they did a few of them in the parking lot at the old Coliseum Ballroom, like outside before they tore it down, I think. But then they moved to a farm and right down the road in Shipman or whatever it was, and right down the road. And it got so big that people started parking across Highway 4. And then they saw people taking like baby strollers across the highway, and they're like, "Man, we're not insured for this sort of thing." And nobody wants to see anybody get hurt.
Dude, and there's babies involved.
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you what. I'm not gonna get any like Parent of the Year awards, anyways. And we'll just go ahead and admit some stuff. I lost my kid at one of those parties. I had to go up to the stage and say, "Hey, man, anybody seen a kid going around?"
Scrappy Jr.
And he literally wanted a nap, and he walked to some people like our camp. Jason Darzan crawled in their pack and play when no one was looking, and
he's like, "That looks like a."
And he's
spot.
like, he was trying to take a nap, and I was like, anyway. It happens.
Speaking of Jake's Leg, they're up at the loading dock Saturday.
Ooh, that's gonna be good. That's gonna be good.
Yeah. So that's, man, always a party with those guys.
They celebrating their 50th year, 40th year this year?
50.
50,
Yeah, I was gonna say it's 50 years.
50 years, man. That's insane.
It is.
Yeah. They're 10 years younger than the Dead.
That's
Man,
crazy.
we can only win.
40 years older than Spillie Nelson.
40 or 37. You're not mathing very well.
I'm 12 and a half. I'll be 13 in fall. All right. Spillie Nelson, man, Under the Stars. Tell us some more about what's going on with Under the Stars. We got it July 24th through the 26th happening at Astral Valley. Tell us a little bit about the lineup and what's shaking there.
Well, we
Andrew.
We got us, obviously.
And by us, he means Spillie Nelson.
Yes.
Not to be confused with the band Us.
Right. And we got the Spooklights. They're a jam grass band. Just Paquet and Ben
Miller.
Ben Miller, yep.
All right. What was it called?
The Spooklights.
They used to be formerly known as MK Ultra, but they're a bluegrass EDM.
That is, MK Ultra is different to me. It means something.
Yeah.
A different generation.
Yeah. It's MK Ultra. It's a punk band, I think, out of like something.
No, it's a game me and my friends used to play.
Oh, yeah.
The CIA did it too, but they didn't.
that was
they
a
weren't
movie.
as fun as we were.
Right. Yeah, so us, the Spooklights. Then we got that one guy coming out of Vegas.
Oh yeah, I know that one guy.
That one guy, yes.
Mike's a cool guy.
And then our good friends Fleetwood and Family.
Hey, they're down.
Fleetwood.
They're
We
down
got-
at the mill Friday night.
Yeah.
They are. They're
Yeah,
with
nice.
Lofty's
Lofty's
coming.
Lofty's coming.
That's
Coming
right.
back from tour.
What,
Nice.
what a show that! I mean, Fleetwood and Family and Lofty's, they're going to tear it down.
Yeah, yeah.
Which has
At the
been
Mills.
I was going to say in the mill, man. That place has just been, good show after good show. Ray Warren doing a great job,
Yeah.
packing it in with local bands and regional, national, all that. So,
Yep.
what else we got going on?
We got Tree 1-4. They're going to be doing a late night set, right, Josh?
Yeah, they're doing a late night on Friday night.
Yeah.
And they're
Excellent.
going to do like the midnight to 2 or something.
Yep. So that's going to be a good time.
Those guys again go way back like car seats, man.
Yeah,
our
dude.
boys in a brighter side, which I know have been here.
Yeah.
Hideous Gentlemen, obviously.
Yep. Yeah.
We
The
got
guy
high-
from Hideous Gentlemen actually soiled the seat you're in.
Yeah. We got One Way Traffic out of St. Louis.
Oh yeah, Leah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and the
Absolutely,
boys.
man. Yeah.
And then
man.
High Idle Band. They're out of Granite.
They're out of Granite City,
Okay.
yeah.
And then Seed Tick Ridge.
Bluegrass band out of
Yep.
Steelville, Missouri, and they are a family of 3, and they are absolutely wonderful. He also owns, the son owns Moonbeam Mandolins, and he also owns Miss Bob's Workshops. He does vocal harmonies, he does instrument teachings, like a bunch of really cool stuff.
Nice. I've seen Seed Tick before.
Yeah.
They smoke, man.
Yeah, man.
They're good. They've been around for a while.
You better bring your handkerchiefs, because if you got any kind of heart in your soul, you're gonna jerk a couple tears out of there. 'cause that's-
yeah.
There's
Well,
some.
can I just bring my regular kerchief?
You
My
can bring. You know,
handkerchief's kind of
what?
all soiled.
You just sit by me. We'll be all right. We
All
won't
right,
sleep
we'll
with our
share.
heads in the
Yeah.
mud. You know what I mean?
Excellent. Excellent. I love it, man.
So how's Mr. Bob's vocal harmony class tie into Seed Tick Ridge?
Well, so Seed Tick Ridge is a 3-piece bluegrass band, and they do harmonies,
Okay.
but they also do music lessons.
Okay.
And vocal harmonies is one of the lessons that they teach.
And there will be a workshop at
It's
Under
how
the
to-
Stars for that.
Yeah, and there's also a workshop at Under the Stars for
I've
it.
seen that. That's why I want to tie that in while we were here.
Yep. So they're going to be teaching people how to find harmonies and how to use them. I think it's something that is, until you really pay attention to it, it can be very defeating and hard.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
it's not a hard thing.
No.
It's like, like playing a note on the piano has got three notes on
One,
it that
three,
make a chord.
five.
Yeah.
Right. So
Chord building.
each person sings one part. That's a harmony.
Somebody's singing 1, somebody's singing the 3, someone's singing the 5.
Right, exactly.
We're going to make a 4-part harmony. Hit that 7, baby.
Well, we don't want to give it all away. We're going to get taught that at Under the Stars.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
And man, when you hear somebody like that just sounds like the natural second voice, it seems almost magical.
Yeah.
And I've seen so many people make it look easy, but it is there's a trick to figuring out how to make it work, man.
Side note, and I will admit, in the beginning of my first playing with somebody who could first do that for me was Rich Fleetwood. But Andrew closely mimics one of the best harmonizers I've ever played with. He can harmonize with me so well that So
Yeah.
Thank you,
There you
buddy.
go.
I felt that way about a local guy, Graham Pagano, since he first showed up in town. I'm like, he just like he would. I wouldn't even ask. I wouldn't even say, "Hey, sing on this part of the song." He would just know when to do it.
Yeah.
He wouldn't even ask. He would.
him and Mikey are like that when they play together.
Yeah. And
just to clarify why it's hard, like Pigpen, when I try to do that with him, he'd just sing what I was singing.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
hard
yeah.
to
He
not
just
want
want
to
to follow me.
Hey, so somebody once told me that you don't realize this, but a lot of times when you're singing in the radio with the radio cruising down the road, that you're singing a harmony.
Oh, yeah.
And I've noticed that there's some songs where I'll sing a part, and I'm like, dude, that's not what I'm actually being. So I'm singing it like just naturally singing the harmony.
Yeah,
to it.
because that's what sticks out to you.
Yeah, that's the part
you
that
hear that high.
Oh, that's the part that's in my vocal range.
Right,
You know what I
yeah.
mean, or whatever.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like,
So what the band, with Levon and Garth
of
and
course.
Rick and all the boys there, they had this magical way of switching harmonies in the middle. Where they would
Talk
hand
about
it
next
off,
level.
where they would know this moment where
look, you're going up,
suddenly-
I'm going down, dude. Here we
Yeah,
go.
Danko would be high and he'd dip down, and Emmanuel would go up,
Oh,
and they
man.
would do it in the middle, and it would give it this just amazing.
I can almost hear the swing of the wow as they pass each other.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I learned to sing by listening to doo-wop and the Beach Boys. So I would always try to learn all the parts. And so it was like a natural way to learn harmonies, which, at a young age at 10, I didn't know that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
But as I started learning music, I'm like, wow, I already know how to sing harmonies.
Yeah.
And the Beach Boys have amazing harmonies.
Yes, they do.
Like, you
And
gotta
there
say,
wasn't no
man.
AI in this stuff.
Did we just start a barbershop Pin's Head? Is it a Pin's Head? What's
yeah,
five?
Pin's
I think we
Head,
just started a barbershop thing right now.
Yeah,
all
it
of
is.
us.
Yeah. First of all, I got to learn to cut hair.
No, singing. We're singing.
Oh, okay, cool.
Hey, speaking of cutting hair, shaving a haircut's going to be under the stars, and that is Dan Rogers' band.
Hey,
See,
listen.
I wasn't sure if that was an event or something you could
It
get.
is a band.
Listen.
It is a traditional bluegrass.
I want to take a minute to talk about shaving a haircut, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Let's do it. We all need one.
You guys all know Dan Rogers because you've probably been to a festival with him. And if you haven't, you should get a T-shirt, at least fake, that you've been to a festival with him because there's T-shirts out there. But my buddy Dan has been with us since the beginning of Spillie. Because he's been really good friends with myself and Fleetwood. In the beginning, we were kind of like his, from my perspective. We were kind of his way into this, He would hang out with us and go to the festivals with us, stuff, blah, blah, blah. And after many, many years, he kind of made a name for himself in the scene because he's just a super freaking cool guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. All the way to the point where we got people that don't even know him that are calling him, how do you get one of them Dan Rogers T-shirts? They're like, you know what I mean? Like they want to. So naturally, he got, sucked up on stage to do a few of his songs once in a while with us. And it turned into a thing.
It is blossoming.
He's got his own band, and it is one of the best experiences. I've seen a lot of stuff, man, and maybe it's just because I have a biased opinion. Go see Shaving a Haircut, dude.
Nice.
Yeah. They will change your life in a good way.
Well, when you see something like that where a person isn't in a band and they just kind of dip a toe.
I'm not real sure he's in a band. He's being Dan. The band is gathering around him while he's being Dan.
Yeah,
That's what's happening.
That's
Kind of like Wavy Gravy.
Yeah, kind of like Wavy Gravy.
Yeah.
Dan just got a platform to do his thing now, but he's always this is Dan Rogers.
You know who named Hugh Romney Wavy Gravy?
Who?
B.B. King. He walked off stage and looked at him and said, "You Wavy Gravy," and he was Hugh Romney before that, and he changed his name that day. Never wanted to be called anything else. He's like B.B. King said, "I'm Wavy Gravy."
I got one for you. You know who introduced B.B. King to Eric Clapton?
Who?
Bonnie Bramlett.
Granite City native.
No kidding.
Yeah, Granite City native. Yeah.
No nicknames involved there.
Yeah.
Although, after Eric Clapton joined Delaney and Bonnie, Delaney told him, "You're not going to play all those notes in my band. You're going to play the right notes and the notes I need you to play."
Right.
And after that, he got a nickname. Slow hand.
Slow.
You got to slow down.
I did
Playing
not
so
know
many
that.
notes.
Comes from Bonnie Bramlett, Granite City, Alton, right there. Bam.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. That lady has touched some rock and roll. Granite City, though, man. Like we got a lot of people that have come down from Granite City this way. 2 sitting right here for sure.
That's what I was going to say.
Granite City,
No.
are you?
No.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Like it,
Shout out to GC, baby. Class of 95. Let's go.
My son lives in Granite. He made marching band.
Dude, you know what? Granite City is reinventing itself.
Yep.
Mayor Mike Parkins is trying his best. It's still City sort of over. That era is dead, sort of. It's not happening, and he's trying to make it more of an arts district. And he has done a great job so far. It is right over the river from St. Louis. It is, he's got a pretty popping little scene going with the mill, with
Some cool little shops popping up down there.
When we read this list that Dennis compiles every week, it is a lot of Granite City.
Well, we tried to go from Granite to Grafton, and I think I remember Jared Unfried coming on for the first time and telling us that, you know what, I moved to Alton because the music is awesome here.
Yeah.
So,
and Marshall and Grassi
that
said
was
the
probably
same
about
thing,
10 years ago.
Yeah. I think Marshall said the same thing. I think Josh kind of came down pretty much, and we do have, there's no doubt you heard what was happening just on the Thursday night.
Yeah.
So let's finish the list of the bands here, and then let's do what's Friday.
Yeah,
I think we got the bands done.
Yeah, we got sponsors for that show.
Yeah, we got a couple sponsors. But before we move on, I want to let you guys know the amenities that are on this property. First of all, so you've thrown festivals. You know the deal.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to do that.
Okay.
Just because.
Go for it. Yep.
Because we got kids camp, right?
Yep. Yeah.
We got a 9-hole disc golf.
Yep. Right.
We got primitive camping. We got spring-fed in-ground pool.
Wow.
We got artisan vendors and food, and this is why I wanted to do it. I think this is code, Big Ben. On-site medics. Maybe it's not code. Maybe it's just me.
Hey, open up the medicine chest.
Well, we thought if they weren't on site, you couldn't call them on-site medics.
Right.
The off-site medics.
Yeah, right. That didn't sound so.
So is that
alluring.
kayak?
No, I mean that means you can take your medics.
No, I didn't know if that
on
was,
the site.
Yeah, okay. Well, kayak is a medic who works at a lot of festivals.
Yeah, no, it's not kayak.
Okay. I didn't know if that.
I know who you're talking about.
Whenever I said that, I was like, maybe you don't know kayak.
Hey, actually, you know what? I think I might have saved kayak one weekend.
He always made chili on Sundays.
Yes,
man.
he does always.
Free chili.
So we didn't get to the workshop. So if you want to do that part, Josh, I just wanted to do the medic joke.
Oh, that's great. I love it.
So I just want some medicine.
We've got a few workshops coming up. We've got, of course, Grateful Yoga with Dana. She does great yoga on Saturday morning, and then we've got what is Brad's thing called?
Breathing technique?
Yeah.
Regulated
STL. Yeah. So regulated STL is a circular breathing breathwork class and a cold plunge and sauna workshop.
Yep. Me and him did the
breathwork.
The breathwork and
cold plunge.
It was 30. It was 30. The breathwork was 30 minutes. It was 10-minute intervals, and I'm talking doing that. So the oxygen.
You're oxidizing your blood, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. And after 30 minutes, me and him sat up, and Brad was like, "How do you feel?" And me and him looked at each other. We just started crying, bro.
Yeah.
It was.
My body was
an
relaxed
overwhelming, great feeling.
Yeah.
And then he didn't do it, but I did the cold plunge, and I was only in for about 1 minute and 20 seconds because they tried to go 3, and it was just it. I'll go back and do it again, but I didn't make it. But that was even. Like, I had aches and pains and inflammation that was gone.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Then
highly recommend that.
Then a warm
Regulated
sauna
STL.
afterwards.
And then a warm sauna afterwards, yeah. It's life-changing. I remember getting in the water and Brad telling me, breathe, dude. The hardest thing is for you to do is when you get cold, you go, and you try to catch your breath, right? He was like, breathe. He's like, because that's the only thing going to save you right now. Don't keep holding your breath.
Don't
breathe,
hyperventilate.
Breathe. Right.
Take some nice, steady, deep breaths. Well, and talking about like the breathing techniques and stuff, it sounds silly. Of course, we breathe. We die without air. But I do believe most of us are pretty lazy breathers. We don't even fill our lungs all the way to capacity.
He said the one thing that you can control in life is breathing. As much as you don't control it.
But you don't.
That's the one thing you do have control over.
And you very rarely breathe all the way in to fill your lungs all the way to capacity and then slowly push it all out and actually exhale. We do lazy and really it doesn't send as much oxygen to the blood. But I'm lazier than you guys. We used to get cans of just straight oxygen. Just like,
that wasn't oxygen.
Yeah, I feel good.
Yeah, I don't remember it being oxygen either. Pete.
So regulated STL will bring that workshop for you. And then we have another workshop called Zen Friends, and they're going to do a sound bath workshop.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I'm not real sure what their methods are, but they do meditation, they do energy, and they do sound bath.
Yeah. We had a sound bather on here. Is that what you call them? Sound bathers?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, but I got my bathing costume. I'm ready.
Actually, some bathe, yeah. I think it's French.
And I've been in on those. It's vibrations,
Yeah.
and vibrations are just healing.
Or us. We are all vibrations.
I was going to say everything is just
all
pretty
matter.
much a vibration.
It's merely
right?
energy condensed to a slow vibration.
Light is a mere wave until it is perceived.
We're all imagination of ourselves. Here's Tom with the weather.
I'm a Nelson. and here's Nelson with the weather.
That's Under the Stars, July 24th through the 26th.
That's right.
French Village, Missouri, Astral Valley Park. $140 for Friday and Saturday, $125 Saturday only. Kids 12 and under are free.
That's right.
$20 for the furry friends. Dogs must be on a leash. Includes camping, access to the river, the shower house, the caves, the spring-fed pool, the general store, kids camp, and all the workshops.
That is correct.
Right.
There you go.
And that is sponsored by Grateful Heads, Alton Music Exchange. You got Bristow's Auto right here in Alton.
Yeah.
Traveling Tales Inn there in Edwardsville. Festival Communications out of South Roxana. You got Grateful Insurance, Altered Grounds, and Uncle Al's out of Jerseyville, and R&V Coffee. And if you see these flyers running around anywhere, these really pretty Under the Stars flyers made by our good boy Billy Walker.
One free cup
You
of
get
coffee
a free
if you bring this
coffee.
to the festival.
If you see the flyer and you come to the festival, grab that flyer and come get you a free coffee on Saturday morning. You're going to need it.
Also,
And that
side note.
could be huge after visiting the Onsite medics.
And side note, fat shout out to my friend the Tie Dye for bringing for sending the fun stuff and out of Wood River, Illinois. Make sure you guys check them out.
Yes,
Tie Dye right next to King Louis.
Yeah,
And
well,
thanks to Andrew for reminding me to mention our sponsors, Halpin Music Company and Mr. Matt Van Vors of Macias Insurance, who like for us to go through our list of what's going on each and every weekend. And Friday night, it's Meal a Duffy down at Morrison's Irish Pub from 6 to 10. We got Almost Dangerous down at the Flock from 6 to 9. Got Jeremy Drake, 1:30, Borderline, 7 o'clock at Fast Eddie's. Synergy at the BFW from 7 to 10. Lady Luck out at Baker's and Hale and Godfrey. Ryan Holting at Locke's Brick House from 7 to 10 on Friday night. We got Hooky up at Grafton's Pub from 7 to 11. And, the record's in danger, Pigpen. We need to get Stewie back. He was the leader in probably shows early on.
He was.
Most people were turning us down. And he would always show up.
And so I just went and saw his newest thing. He's joined the Petty Cash Junction. Went and saw them this past weekend. And out of sight show couldn't. It was packed. They've been selling out show after show. So. Yeah, he's a busy dude, man. But he was one of our heavy guests right at the beginning. My nephew Stewie.
A lot of people turned us down, Pigpen.
Yeah, well,
that's how it goes.
Still do. Still do. I'm talking to you more close. No, I'm just kidding.
we got Chaser 6 to 10 at Holiday Shores Marina Bar in Edwardsville. Zach Rayner at Backstage, the Old Wigglers at the Lake at Holiday Shores. Yeah. We got speaking of celebrating 50 years, Zebra.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
At the Wild,
Yeah. Who's behind the door? Zebra for 50 years. 7:30 at the Wild E. Gusto, 9 o'clock at the Backstage Bar and Patio in Edwardsville. Mo Pleasure around the corner at Big Daddy's in Edwardsville. And Logan Barn Hill at the Staggering again in Edwardsville. Skylark Brothers, 6 to 9 at the 1818 Chop House. Hopefully they get a steak for playing there. Lanny and Julie, they're playing the Moose, 7 to 10. And Spencer McDowell at the Sacred Rounds Cafe in Edwardsville. We got Hunter Sharp at the Cabin at Judy Creek and Carrie Lee at the Tipsy Turtle Bourbon Bar in Glen Carbon. We mentioned Lofty's Common and Fleetwood Family down at the mill. $9.15. You can't beat that. 7 p.m. at the Mill in Granite. Flip side going to be at Bindy's from 7 to 11. And up in Jerseyville, Cree Riders, 69 at George's Pub and Grill.
Nice.
There's a whole list of stuff down in Collinsville and Troy, Staunton. So you can check that all out at cottonmouth.org. And, they're kicking off some music down at the Alton Farmers Market on Saturday. Charlotte, Lenore, 8 a.m. That's a gig to have.
Early gig.
Woo, 8 a.m.
Yeah.
You ready to stretch the pipes that early?
Well, what are we talking about again? I'm sorry.
I'm going to take this.
Stretching pipes.
I'm dizzy just from thinking about it.
Well, if you do your breathing, you won't be. Under the Stars. I'm going to take this Under the Stars down there and see if I can get a free cup of coffee. I don't know if it's going to work.
Can I cash this in early, man? I'm jonesing.
That's funny.
What else we got?
We got Flip the Frog doing Argosy Casino. They're going to start
look at
doing some
that.
music down there.
It's been a few years.
Yeah.
Man. They used to do really good music down there. And
I've
then it
seen
just
about one a month right now. The Doppelganger was there, and now
Right.
Flip the Frog, 7:30 to 9. We got the show we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Crystal Lady, the Down Bads, and Blank Slate from Colorado at the
Nice.
Conservatory on Saturday. Naked Soul, 1:30, Borderline again, 7 o'clock at Fast Eddie's. On Saturday night, Leadfoot out at Baker's and Hale, 7 to 10. The Retro Nerds now at the Pump House. Behavior Intervention, 7 to 11 at Chico's in Wood River. Man, I went down there for their steak special on Saturday.
Yeah.
To kill.
Nice.
So I think I'm going to head back down there on Saturday and check out Behavior.
And you know what's right by Chico's? Tie-dyed.
That's right, the tie-dye.
See?
Is that a sponsor for Under the Star?
They are. So they were the biggest sponsor we had last year.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're still in cahoots with us. They sent us some. They sent some goodies over here for Sean, just so we could, stay in cahoots with them. And I was like, I'm gonna give your name a shout out on the radio,
I
buddy.
figured we'd give him another.
Joe Jackson, him and his wife,
saw
man,
the
they're great people.
opportunity.
Yep. They're great people, man. You guys stop by and check them out.
Yeah,
We are
nice.
talking to Spillie Nelson. If you're just tuning in, Under the Stars happening July 24th through the 26th. Astral Valley, French Village, Missouri. How do you get to French Village, Missouri? Which
Take
highway is
Highway
that?
55 straight down to
67.
67.
And you go about 10 miles and turn left, and you're pretty much there.
Oh, that's down there where they throw rolls around in that restaurant. Was Sykeston?
Sykeston. It's not quite that
Lambert's.
far. Not,
Okay.
Yeah, Lambert down there.
That's
a
not
little-
that far?
Not that far. But if you think about it, though, it's 67, so you could just jump on 67
You
right
could.
here, and you'll eventually get there.
Yeah.
Although
However, that is the long way, my friends.
Yeah.
If you jump,
But if you don't like directions, but you can just stay on the same road the
you
whole
can
time.
literally cross the bridge and just keep following it, and you're going to get there. If you just stay on 67.
It might take you 2 hours
It's going to
instead of
take
an
you a
hour
while.
and 20.
But if you head down
You go through a
250,
pretty bad part of St. Louis, though. I think on that, right?
no, it's not that
it's
bad.
not that bad. I
I've
used
been
to go
through
to.
worse.
I used to go to
Yeah,
right before the circle or right after that circle
It's-
is what I remember. Or is that 367? I get my 67.
367.
Yeah, you're talking about Riverview?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Okay. Wrong 67.
Remember
67.
you know what though, the legendary 367 was Club 367.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, the Henderson brothers.
So-
Right? The sound system in there. I remember that.
So
No, the
round,
Hendrix brothers. Sorry.
Hendrix Brothers,
Yeah.
man. So whenever the guy I remember for the years that I was kind of involved there, Parm owned it,
Yep.
and Animal was running sound. This guy Animal ran sound. He was out of sight. He taught me a lot about sound.
That seems
and
about
how to
right.
manipulate
Animal and
it.
Scrappy got together and
Oh,
made
yeah,
good sound.
I can't remember the guy's real name, man, but he was one of the 2 or 3 guys that really kind of schooled
You're
me
talking
on.
about Pontoon?
No,
No,
this is
no, right
Club
across the bridge.
367 is if you take 367 and you keep going past 270,
right past,
it comes to this place where there's a round building,
tower.
top of the towers.
I know where you're talking
And
about. Yeah.
right behind top of the towers was this club. And
I
it was
know where
called
you're talking
Animal House in the 80s.
We played there in Bare Knuckle. I just couldn't remember what.
Yeah, it was a huge stage.
Yeah.
Like you know, if you,
Yeah.
um,
And the police station was like right next door. So
oh yeah,
not good for bands like
good
mine.
times, good times.
I mean,
So-
they say that you do it right in front of them. If you're going to try to get away with it, you
Oh,
got to
yeah.
do it right in front of them.
Well,
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
did.
Why don't we do it in the road? No one will be watching.
He said we did. Best place to speed is in front of the cop shop, right?
Well, in those days, I was actually trying to get dragged off stage and arrested. I thought it'd be good headlines.
Right. Bad publicity is good publicity.
I'm going to end up on the cover of Spin magazine.
Naked.
A fella I know ended up in Rolling Stone magazine last year because he injured himself on stage. A guitar player for Andy Frasco, Sean Eccles, injured himself on stage but finished the show, and he got a little write-up in Rolling Stone about it, and he's like, dude, I just got a better sponsorship.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Andy is so cool.
Oh, yeah, dude.
It's just so cool.
Yeah. Those guys are
what
awesome.
we'd like to do right now is bring in one of the other bands that's playing at Under the Stars Festival, and that is Hideous Gentlemen.
Oh, hey, welcome to the studio, Hideous Gentlemen.
I got to check my schedule.
Hey, it seems like it's been a while since we had a Hideous Gentlemen
Do we need
show.
to put some information in front of them?
Last time we had a few earlier this year, and we did Post Commons, and we did Flock, and
That's
we
right.
did Old Bakery. We did like the Alton tour.
Well, that was breathtaking.
So Dave, our longtime bass player, is doing a lot of work in Chicago right now.
Okay.
So he's super busy with that.
So he's Super Dave.
So he's Super Dave.
Cousin Dave.
I mean, this is a guy.
So technically,
Super Dave.
Dave's not here.
Right.
But this is a guy who literally plays bass and trumpet at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, he's an animal. He's an animal.
Obviously, been to the breathing workshop.
There's some stuff we're doing. We're doing Stagger in July 25th, I think, acoustic, and then we're doing Under the Stars, and we'll be at Baker and Hale July 29th for Bike Night.
Okay.
The full band, the whole kit and caboodle.
I was going to say, because there's versions of Hideous Gentlemen, right?
No, I mean, it's just,
broke down version.
I mean, it's like, yeah, you know it is. You got to do an acoustic show to pay the bills sometimes.
Right.
So, yeah, but it's
I did see a Hideous Gentleman. I think it was called Hid Gym.
Hid Gym.
Hid Jim.
Hid Gym.
You know, a lot of bands
and there
do
was
that
just two
around
of
here,
them.
though.
You ever tried Head Gym?
You know,
Have you
that's
ever listened to
That's
Ed?
another one going on for 12 or 13 years, and you know, like I said,
Person's free, man.
we've been through lots of stuff, and we still
For sure.
and I think have zero interest in not doing it. You know, like you know,
I like that. I like that attitude.
Right.
I have zero interest in not doing this. That's great.
So you can check out Hideous Gentlemen July 24th through the 26th
That is no doubt. You can definitely check them out.
at Under the Stars, along with Fleetwood and Family, Tree 1-4, A Brighter Side, High Idle Band, One Way Traffic, Seed Tick Ridge, Shave and a Haircut. That's not an event, that's a band.
you know,
And that's just on the front of the flyer.
and I'd say all these bands, and I'm the newest guy in Spillie, but this is such a big family. Like all the bands are all friends. They all jam together. They all play together. They all hang out. So it's really just going to be a huge, great time for everybody involved.
I think Astral Valley coined it best on their site. They said, if you're looking for that old school jam where everybody knows everybody and you make new friends and when you walk away you can't wait to come back to the next year, this is the place to be.
And that,
They said.
and I'm telling you what that is like in the early days of festivals. Once Jerry passed, festivals started popping because everyone was looking for something to fill the void of the Dead tour. And you know, some people went on Fish tour, some people were Rainbow Family, but everybody started popping with festivals everywhere. And those early ones, it was like every festival you went to, it was a group of friends that all had bands that would say, "Let's do this," and it would turn into a big hodgepodge.
Well,
on
you know,
stage.
it does all start grassroots like that. I think, you know, even some of these bigger festivals like Summer Camp, we were supposed to play Summer Camp and they've canceled it this year.
Right.
Yeah, it's
25 years in a row or whatever.
Yeah.
Last year they missed. And you're talking, I'm sure the budget was a few $1 million just on bands.
it's a 20,000 people event.
But
you
they
know.
didn't start out that way.
No.
You know what I mean? They started out with a couple of guys with some ideas and some friends that played music. You know what I mean? Like,
No, right now it's these 500 to 1,000 people events that are just the best.
Right.
Everybody's having the most fun. It's accessible. It's not.
It's safe.
It's safe. It's not going to break your pocket to go do it. The talent's there. I mean, there's talent everywhere. It's all over the place.
Yeah.
So that brought up a question. I think the last Under the Stars, there was a cap. Is that correct for attendance? Like you
Yeah.
guys wanted to keep it small on purpose.
yeah, it was 200.
So this one, all in.
Well, no, we're probably not all in.
Okay.
I think
This is a big piece of property. This can house a bigger.
so. That's the
group
thing. The thing
comfortably.
is there's probably an endless amount of people we could put here.
Right.
As far as where there's a few different ways that you can rent or go about using this campground, and we're using a tier that is involved in a certain section of the campground.
Gotcha.
Right. So we're trying to keep it. We could totally spread people out,
But you don't want to overflow your tier.
Well, but the festival, they don't even care. Like, money's money, right? They don't
Right.
care. Bring in all your people you want.
Right.
But we don't want people to be out of the bubble that we're trying to create.
Right. Yeah.
It's not big enough for more than 300 or 400 or 500 people. After that, it's just getting too big. We ain't got it. We haven't put enough. There's not enough.
Not
there
enough
for that.
infrastructure.
There's not enough infrastructure.
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
that.
Because so.
However, the campground could handle 5,000 people.
And there are
You know what I mean?
there are bathrooms and showers, which is one of the big things. I mean, we do plenty of rural festivals, and showers are in this RV parking, right?
Yeah, there's
there's
RV
electric
hookups, there's
hookup,
electric and
yeah.
non-electric. There's electric sites for camping.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a full-on campground, and like you say, it is kind of a situation where even though it's a huge piece of property, you still only have so much PA to push to so many
That's
people.
what I'm
You still
saying.
have so much, medic, to
If we
cover
get
so-
400 people there, I'll be whoa.
Yeah,
if we get
absolutely.
200 beer, I'll be like, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I can tell you why I'm a horrible promoter, because I have the theory I don't want to talk anyone into coming. If you're supposed to be there, you figure it out. If not, sorry.
Well, that's a big part, yeah.
and it's kind of like you could call it a lazy man's attitude, but that was the way King Kesey put it. The very first electric, Kool-Aid acid test, they were supposed to have it at a venue. And when the guy found out what they were doing, he canceled it that day. He said, no, you can't do this, like the day before. It was still legal, but he just didn't want it. And so they ended up having it on a public beach. And all the pranksters were going, who's going to be at this beach, Ken? Who's going to come? He said, the right people. Whoever
Right.
finds it was supposed to be there. And whoever
Right.
doesn't wasn't supposed to be there anyway.
Right.
And I thought, if that's the attitude
that's
I
kind of
will
where we're
promote
at.
with right
That's
there.
kind of where we're at.
You know,
man.
where
You
it's
what I mean?
like,
all the right people are here.
It's a whole lot of fun to play music for people that want to be there and listen to it.
Yeah, and-
regardless of how many people are
Yes.
there.
That's really what it's about. It's not even about the abundance of people. It's about the people that are there, and the energy exchange that you
Yeah.
have is real. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what it's about.
Having the right people there.
Yeah, it's all the
that
right
we're
people
supposed
here.
to be, yeah.
It's like Cass Haley said.
Yeah.
You know a place that has good energy, especially on June 3rd. Deutz Village Inn.
Yeah.
Deutz Village Inn. Always fun to stop in at Deutz. Those people like music in Deutz.
They love do it.
Yeah, and they're there to hear music, whereas some places people are there to have a conversation and the music's in the background. Deutz not that way, but you guys are playing June 3rd. Isn't that a Wednesday night?
That's a
That is a
Wednesday night.
And
Yeah.
then the night after that,
Oh, okay.
We're here at the
Thursday
night market.
at the night market.
Oh, okay.
Right
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Opening night.
Opening.
Nice.
That's right.
And the new
Fired
spot
up.
for the night market, I personally find fabulous.
Yeah. Now,
It's a nice flat area to stand on. The stage. Yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed having the night market right down over here. And the Pocket Park was great. And I mean, that was a great. But it was like
Amphitheater style, kind of.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I felt like I was at Alpine Valley. Like, keep your balance,
That's what
man.
you
If I
use with
start
Astral
falling, I'm
Valley.
going to tumble all the way down, And I've tumbled down Alpine Valley more than once. It's a long fall. Anyway.
So, yep, that's our next two shows, and next week at Deutz.
Nice.
7 to 11, Josh?
Yeah.
7 to 11 at Deutz, and then if you can't make that one, can't get down
Thursday.
to Pontoon, we'll be right here in Alton, the night market.
Where everybody will be next Thursday night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The opening of the night market, we've been waiting a year.
Almost.
Yeah.
It feels like 2 years. So there you go, man. Spillie Nelson hitting the night market on the 4th. Deutz at Pontoon Beach on the 3rd.
Yep.
And then, of course, the big thing we've been talking about all night, Under the Stars, coming up July 24th through 26th. French Village, is that what it is?
That's what it is,
French
buddy.
Village. So there you go. I wanted to make sure I was saying I was going by memory.
I thought you were going to slip and say your favorite song.
Nah.
It starts with French.
To get tickets to Under the
Everybody loves
Stars.
French.
To get tickets to Under the Stars, it's on the Eventbrite. There is a link on the Facebook page. Just go to Under the Stars.
Or you
Facebook
can just search
page.
it out at Eventbrite too.
Yep.
And I will make a comment on that too. Every time I've had any intertwining with Eventbrite, it has gone well.
Right.
Whether it's big, like we had a show my wife bought down in New Orleans to Billy Strings through Eventbrite, and she bought 4 tickets to Friday and none to Saturday. And they still said, you know what, we'll get you in Saturday. Oh, wow. Even though it was sold out. And I'm telling Ticketmaster would never have done that.
They would have sold it to the highest bidder.
And all the local guys I know who have used Eventbrite, I ask them because I'm curious how it goes. And they all have bragged and said they're a joy to work with.
Yeah.
So just want to give whoever those people are, a little shout out because apparently they're
Eventbrite,
right.
If you're listening, we love you.
And there is a link that you can click on that'll take you right to Eventbrite at cottonmouth.org. You'll have to scroll down to July, and there's a lot happening before July 24th through the 25th in our area because a lot happens every single weekend around here.
Yeah, that's right.
Even during the week.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to get out and about.
Yeah, we don't talk about what happens much during the week, but Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I mean, we have pages
Wednesday we hardly ever talk about because we come in after it's all done.
Yeah.
And there's stuff happening on Wednesday night for sure.
I don't call it hump day for nothing.
Kidding.
So,
well, hey, we appreciate you guys having us on. You know, one love for sure. You guys have always been loyal and respectful and curious about what we're doing, and you always had us back on the show. And I appreciate that. I really do, guys.
You guys got to get shaving a haircut on this show, though.
Yep.
Well,
I'm not getting
there's one thing I'm not doing. That's a shaving a haircut.
No, not the event.
You sound
the
like
band.
my mother.
The band, guys, the band.
Anyway, no, seriously, you guys, like you say, we kind of hooked up with you as soon as you came to town.
Yeah.
And nothing but good times.
Right on. Appreciate that.
Whether we're playing together, whether we're working together in any facet, running sound for you guys, always a joy.
Yeah.
It's nice to see your event popping in such a way because Astral Valley is known as a for over a decade now, for sure, as a place that has happening events, with the exception of Steve Miller. It's all gone pretty good.
That one time with Steve Miller, man.
One time.
Wait, what was that? What was that?
That was the year it rained. That was the year.
That was a different festival. What was it called? It was.
I can't remember, but it was at that place.
I remember that.
It's called something different. Yeah. But anyway, the Astral Valley, French Village, Missouri. Once again, July 24th through 26th. Get your tickets. Eventbrite is the place to get them, and all the bands, all the workshops, everything. Everything comes with the ticket price. And what's ticket price once again?
$145 for the weekend, $125 for the. $150 for the weekend, $125 for Saturday.
$150.
well, you got to update your event page.
Yeah, what did I say?
It said 140.
Yeah.
125.
No, that's what it is. 140 and 125.
Okay.
You are correct. Sorry.
He's not the money man.
Yeah, I'm not the guy, man. It's not on the flyer.
Hey,
Where's Dave? Oh, Dave's not here.
He's not here.
So, anyway, you can get the tickets at Eventbrite. $140 for the weekend. And that's a weekend packed with music, packed with events, packed with workshops. And
Sunday morning church, too. As
you know what? I'm ready to go to church right now.
Yeah, buddy.
So hey, thanks a lot to Spillie Nelson.
I got one more shout out, Pigpen.
Let's do it.
It's an important one.
Okay.
We were talking about 50 years of Jake's Leg, 50 years of Zebra.
Yeah.
How about 50 years of marriage for Butch Moore celebrating his...
Butch Moore.
Yeah.
Dang, I think he's got the longest running open mic in history, I think.
For
It's staggering.
And 2 years longer than the marriage, I think.
Hey,
No.
congratulations. Congratulations, Butch. I love you, buddy.
So there you go. Hey, thanks so much to the guys for coming down, not only from Spillie Nelson, but also Hideous Gentlemen. Big thanks to our sponsors, Halpin Music Company and Matt Van Vorst of Macias and German Insurance.
We got baseball coming up, Pigpen.
We got baseball coming up, so everybody remember.
College baseball.
Well,
From Gordon Moore Park. And check this out. So there's this new fad going around Major League Baseball. You know how everything starts in Alton, right?
Right.
New fad going around Major League Baseball where everybody's taking off their shirts and twirling them around. Well,
Tarp soft crew, yeah.
Right. So this baseball team came up from Texas. They were playing out at Gordon Moore Park, and they went over to the Cardinal game, and they're the ones that started doing that. So it all started right here in Alton. I just want to point that out.
Yep, and that went nationwide.
Yeah, it is.
Like throughout the MLB anyway.
It is totally everywhere now.
You know,
Thanks
rock
to
and
Alton.
roll started right
That's
here.
right.
People just don't know
We
it,
do it
man.
all here.
Everything started here. Oh, all right.
so,
the end of
yeah.
this show starting here right now. Hey, thanks to everybody for listening. Thanks to our sponsors.
thanks for
once
having us,
again.
guys.
Thanks, Spillie Nelson, for coming in. Everybody, whatever you're going to do this weekend, make sure you get out and support local music and art.